I said welcome. All right, everybody. Getting ready to go live and in living color from El Casa the Bad Nerd. Twitch. All right, I need to post the Twitch. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Bonk. There we go. Oh, I think I have to do that from the Streamlabs thing. We are still working on things. / Alright, hopefully this reset up all of my cool fun stuff so everybody can join in the fun over on my Twitch channel. And eventually I'll figure out how to do it for Facebook. Oop. There we go. There we go. Can everybody hear me now? Live and in living color. Live and in living color. Coming from my phone. I was wondering where that noise was coming from. It was me coming from my phone. Well, hey, Alley-oop. Thanks for joining us tonight. You're on Twitch. Is that correct? Multi-chat. Watching me from Twitch or from Facebook? Don't. Hello. I don't think you're on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. Twitch tonight. Thank you so much for watching on Twitch. Hey, you should tell your friend to watch me. Eventually I'm going to be doing Pokemon stuff. Maybe I can have y'all on. You know me. I'm into everything. Help! Help me, please! When the funk hits the fan, gonna smell like... I have a new technique that I'm going to be showing people tonight, and that's how to properly dry brush. Turns out for the past 10 years, I've been dry brushing incorrectly. Now I get to show everybody the little bits that I learned over the past week while I was doing research, looking at different things. Fact of the day. If you're on Twitch, you can see this. If you're not on Twitch, then you're going to wonder where I got this from. Fun fact of the day. Pineapples work as a natural meat tenderizer. Not when we're family friendly. Emotional damage. But that's alright. It's okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's all going accordingly to plan. The acid breaks the meat down, and it makes it taste sweet. I liked it very much. At least I didn't say incoherent babble. And if you're watching me on Twitch, we've got some really cool Nerd Dad merch. Incoherent babble. Alright, I believe we've been streaming long enough to where it's caught on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So let's go to my favorite shot. Ta-da! It's me! Everybody's favorite Big Bad Nerd Dad. Thank you very much for joining the stream tonight. Alley-oop, I see you in the chat. Anybody else that's watching and giving me likes on Facebook or YouTube, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate any views, likes, shares that you're able to give me, because we are ramping up for something incredible this year. On May 27th through the 28th, we are doing the 24-hour stream, charity stream for Texas Children's Hospital. And man, this one's going to be a doozy. We've got so much fun stuff packed into 24 hours of gameplay, non-stop, rapid fire. We'll have a couple of breaks where we can eat, and y'all guys we'll do a couple of commercials for our sponsors. But we're going to be doing East Texas University. If you've never played that before, it's a really cool RPG. Really cool RPG. That's weird. You can't see me. Don't say that. Let's check. Refresh? I don't know. Quick. I'm being told there are connectivity issues. Oh no, I can see me. It's just you. That's weird. All right. Well, anyway, we'll be playing East Texas University, which is originally a Savage World expansion. I don't know what to call them, but it was done with Savage World. Sweet, starting soon. Was originally a Savage World expansion. I have hacked it for Tiny Dungeon or Tiny Cthulhu using the Tiny D6 engine. Basically, I like using D6s, and it makes the gameplay move faster, and everybody can role play more than have to worry about what their dice rolls are. Either you get it done or you don't get it done. So we'll be playing East Texas University, Zombicide, a board game, Zombicide Chronicles, the RPG, which if you've never seen Zombicide or Zombicide Chronicles, it is a modern board game set in a somewhat apocalyptic world where zombies have taken over. And so it's basically you trying to survive. And I'm very excited to get into it because Sabrina and I have been playing Zombicide for many years. It's okay. I like you, and that's what matters. Thank you for joining me on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. I don't care where you're at. Thank you very much for joining me. So, East Texas University, Zombicide Chronicles. We are going to do a round of the Resident Evil 2 board game. Then we're going to do a couple of rounds of thank you for giving me the likes and for watching and for the cares and love reacts. I eat them up. We'll be doing Betrayal at House on the Hill. It's another board game. Very fun. Been out forever. It's a great board game. Then after that, we will be playing some VHS, which I will have a link for that down in the comments. I just kickstarted it. I didn't just kickstart it. I kickstarted it day one, and it is amazing. Oh, thank you for liking the stream. You see my little it's a horror themed RPG, which I know that there are some out there, and this one is specifically so you can make like movies, horror movie scenarios. And they're supposed to be one shots, real quick. Not real quick, but it's not made to go into a campaign mode. Although I have seen on the Kickstarter that they're doing things to make campaigns, so like a trilogy or the movie series keeps going and going and going, which is neat. I like that idea. But I'm really going to focus on just doing one drop scenarios and doing some of my favorite movies like Killer Clowns from Outer Space or Cabin in the Woods. Just a bunch of random fun ones. I'm even writing a completely custom original one that I'm calling, and I want to thank my good friend Ira, Dirty Beats. He's on here somewhere. for giving me the title of this. It's Dia de los Panchos, because I'm going to have it set in the Mexican buffet that's pretty famous in Texas. I say it's pretty famous. It's been around forever, but it's a horror story, horror scenario set in Panchos, the Mexican buffet, which is actually based on some true stuff that's happened here in Umber, Texas. I'm from Houston, Texas. If anybody's watching and cares. But it's really neat. We'll be playing that game, and so we'll be doing 24 hours of all of those things, all the RPGs, all the board games. It's a horror themed Dia de los Panchos. It's a horror themed 24-hour stream because it's on the 27th to 28th is the halfway mark to Halloween, and everybody around here loves Halloween. Yay! And yes, go H-Town. That was the U of H symbol, not anything else, I promise. Which the Rockets are having their Pride Night tonight. Go Rockets, go Pride. What else do we got going on? I'm just so excited about everything that's happening with the stream and with all kinds of other stuff. My painting, which I'm about to show you right now. I've been working very, very hard on these Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures. It's a miniature war game set in the Marvel universe. I know Marvel's all over the place, and now they have a war game out, and it is supposed to be very fun. And I had tried my best not to get into it because I didn't want to have to buy hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of miniatures. But a very good friend of mine, Cup of Joe, bought me one for my birthday / Christmas. A base set, and so I've been working my way through the base set terrain, and then after looking at everything, I realized they have Venom, and Venom is my absolute favorite Marvel character, so I had to get Venom. So now I'm building an entire Marvel Crisis Protocol team around Venom. So let me go ahead and switch views so you can see what I'm working on. There we go. All right, woo! All right, we're live. So I started by painting this Ultron. Out of the way. Alright. So if you look at Ultron, I painted him. And when you get the miniatures, they're gray. They're just a gray miniature. I don't have any loose, of course. But I start them primed like this. So I do a black primer. You see he's black in some parts, and then I hit it at an angle with a white primer, and that's just so that the model will take paint better, and then I can highlight certain areas and get more, see where the details are a lot better, to paint those details in more detail. But I started with Ultron, and then I worked my way through, I hate how big these bases are. Doc Ock. I did Dr. Octopus. And these models don't come assembled. I had to assemble them and paint them. We did Ultron, Doc Ock. My absolute favorite, Venom. And I had to make sure I did Venom absolutely right. Like I wanted him to look well, make sure you can see all the definition in his muscle and the veins. And you know, he's no slouch. He's a big, beefy model. And of course, if you're going to play this game, you can't just play with 2 to 3 miniatures. You have to have a full list of miniatures to play with. So I've been working my way through the rest of the spider villains. So I've got the lizard to paint next. You saw Mysterio. Kraven the Hunter. So these guys are all up on the docket to paint next. And I finished the Hobgoblin the other day. He was different because I've never actually painted purple before. So I had to work with a dark purple base. Thank you very much. I tried very hard. I actually spent like 2.5 hours painting Venom, which is fairly long for me to paint a model. Normally I speed paint everything. But I wanted to make sure I got everything right for him and the rest of these models because they're iconic, right? You see Venom, Doc Ock, the Green Goblin, and they're iconic characters that you want to make sure that you paint them correctly. I tried some new painting techniques that I'd never done before. And of course, after I finished painting a majority of them, I learned that I've been dry brushing wrong, and that's what we'll be working on today with our techniques, is how to dry brush properly. And then last but not least, I'm in the middle of painting him, so you can see. But I got this Carnage. Oh, he looks really good on camera. He's bright red. I want to thank John Owens, Havoc Maker. He's on Twitch as well. He's an amazing painter. He is 10 to 20 times better than I am. And he gave me some tips on what to do to make it pop and look better. Dry brushing at certain points, washing, going over, and I really like the way that this Carnage is coming out. So he's a work in progress. I'll be finishing him up over the next few days. But today we will be painting my 5th edition character, Dormir. He is a druid. I know he looks like a wizard. Danny Dean, I can hear you right now. Oh, what is that? A wizard? Why does he have a spell book? And he's casting something from his hand? That's not something. Well, my druid is a little bit different. He's not your normal druid. He is a druid from the circle of the stars. So he is like an astronomy druid. And he's trying to learn as much as he can about the world, because he's been trapped on an island for pretty much his entire life. And so now he's going out and he's adventuring and he's learning. So he's picking up any book, any information that he can. He's trying to make friends at every turn. I could have chosen the hermit background for my backstory for my druid. Yes, I created the backstory for him. I created everything for him. And I will continue to create because it's an ongoing campaign and I can't wait to play in it. But he is learning everything about the world. So he's trying to make friends. He's learning. He's reading books. And now he's moving forward and going on an adventure. Thank you very much. And that's one of the things that I thoroughly enjoy about role-playing games, is that it gives you the ability to create. To let your imagination run wild and free, and the only restraints really are what the dungeon master or storyteller have for their world. Right? You gotta follow the rules of their world, and at the worst, they tell you no, and you just figure out something else. So I'm having a lot of fun playing and figuring out what to do with my character. And so today we'll be painting him. As you can see, I've already primed him. He actually looks like this before he's primed. 3D printed him with a dark blue resin. I have a 3D printer. Not everybody has a 3D printer. I highly recommend looking up Hero Forge. Hero Forge is an amazing tool for making your own miniature. And they can print it for you, of course at a cost. But it's worth it because they do a very good job printing it, making sure there's no mold lines. Like these things, when they're 3D printed, there's not going to be the little lines you see down the side of them from where they were popped out from a mold. They were 3D resin printed, so you might see a couple of little bips and bops on them from where they were popped out of the resin from the supports. But aside from that, they come out very, very well. And you're probably thinking to yourself, why are there two? And the reason I got two is because my druid doesn't shapeshift like normal druids do in 5th edition. My druid will go into what's known as a starry form, which means that he basically keeps his same look, but his physical body will disappear, but the outline will still be there, and his body will then look like a constellation. So he'll take up different constellations to have different powers. Like one constellation allows him to do a free attack every turn, or one constellation helps when he's healing people. There's different things for different constellations for different situations. And I really like the idea of having that constellation circle and role playing with that. Like I'm looking to the stars for help and understanding. Sorry, a cat jumped behind me and scared me. Oh, but we've already got him primed. Right? He was blue. Now I've got him highlighted white. I did start off black. I based him black and then hit him with the light white primer so that I could make all of those details pop a little bit better. Let me see if I can get close. And again, the technology has come so far to where we can print these 3D miniatures exactly how we want them. Like I went onto a website and created this model from scratch. And he's exactly what I want my character to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with his clothes. And I'm going to do a dark blue-gray. I'm using Pro Acryl paints from Monument Hobbies. They're the best paints that I've ever used. I used to swear by Army Painter, and I still think Army Painter are good paints. But these Pro Acryl paints from Monument Hobbies are amazing. They flow really easily. You don't have to add any medium to make them go over the models. They've got great pigmentation, which means that the paint is very thick with pigment, and it doesn't take a bunch of coats to get the color to stick, or other colors don't pop through as easily. So you can layer these really well and not have to worry about blending unless you want to blend them. Alright, so we're going to roll the paint. And actually something that I've noticed with these is they've got a little, I don't know if you can hear it. Inside the paint bottles, they've got a little glass bead to help with mixing the paint. So I haven't run into issues of air bubbles coming out when I'm doing this painting. All right, so and honestly, you don't need a lot of paint because it spreads so well. Got a good even spread. We're going to take our model. I got a little paint on the top of the bottle. I'm actually going to use that. I'm going to start painting his robes, because I want his robes to be a very dark neutral gray, and then the other parts of his robes will actually be a lighter blue. Not too light, but I actually have quite a few different blues to work with, so I'm going to be doing some highlighting, dry brushing, and all of this is very simple, easy work. If you have any fear of doing any of this, all it takes is a little bit of practice. You can go to any hobby shop, any game store, and they're going to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miniatures for you to buy and practice on. Something that I highly recommend doing is getting a bunch of the bone miniatures from Reaper. If you have a hobby store nearby, I highly recommend shopping at your hobby store first. If not, you can buy from Reaper directly. They're located in Dallas or Denton, Texas. Alexandria, Alioup. I know that you know where Denton is. So they are local. They are a local small business that has been making miniatures for many, many years. And they're very good at it. And they make very affordable miniatures. Yep, Denton. I'm pretty sure that's where Reaper's located. I know it's not Grapevine. But anyway, buy a bunch of these models from Reaper and then just start practicing. Oh, you can't see because of the base. I have really been debating on getting what's it called? One of those. They have these little stands that you can put the miniature on and hold it so that you're not holding that. I think that's what one of my next investments is going to be. Is a miniature holder. Unless there's a loving sponsor out there that would like to sponsor some miniature holders. I am all about getting stuff, trying it out, telling the people what I think about them. I'm painting his gray pants blue. That's a 40-year-old virgin reference for y'all out there. Yep. Thank you for looking that up, Miss Alex. Alley-oop. If you're on Twitch, Alley-oop just looked up the fact that Reaper Miniatures is out of Denton, which is what I thought. Good people, good product. And again, the Reaper Bones line is incredibly affordable. You can buy a bunch of their miniatures very, very cheap, like $3 to $5 per miniature, which is really good. I know that might seem a bit much for plastic, but when you look at other model makers, they can be very expensive for just one model. Now, what I'm going to do is paint all of his cloth bits this dark gray blue. That's sort of like a base color. And then I'll be working up from there with these lighter blues and then highlighting and dry brushing with sky blue. And if you have any questions about miniatures, Dungeons and Dragons, RPGs in general, please feel free to ask. I am here to answer questions, here to talk and chat and share my love of the hobby with everybody. There. I'm going to make his belt / his belt sash a lighter blue. Not going to paint that at all. And I'm going to paint all the bits that I think would be his cloth armor. He wears leather armor. He doesn't use metal. He has a shepherd's crook or a quarter that I'm using as like a quarterstaff. Oh, what's my favorite miniature I've ever painted and why? Really, I like painting these little guys. I like painting miniatures that I've made. So anything from Hero Forge has been my favorite to paint because they're a miniature that I've custom made myself on the website. And it's very neat and sort of fulfilling to create something from absolutely nothing and then continue to beautify it. I don't know if that's the right word, but like I created this model. I created this model from nothing. He was just a bare character model. And then I was like, all right, I think of my character Dormir, the druid of the stars, and how he wants to become a leader for his group. And his people look up to the Star Shepherd, and Star Warden. I made that up. And so he is working his way up through the ranks of his druidic circle. And he's trying his best. And so that's what this represents right here. This isn't his final form. This is him as a beginning adventurer, traveler, druid. Right? He's level 3. So I've got 17 levels to bulk him up, to help him find what he wants to be. At least in my mind, that's what the driving force is for this character. Right, and it looks like I painted all of his parts. That dark gray. We'll go back and paint those belts that he has under there. Back. There are a couple of little spots that I missed, so I'll go back and grab those. So I've made quite a few Hero Forge miniatures. They're one of a kind. They're my creation. They're characters in the stories that I've helped write and woven with my friends and family. The characters from my RPG, Lunaria, Marco, Naomi, Barda, all those characters I created, well, with the exception of Naomi. My wife created her. That's her character in Lunaria. That was fairly easy. Did all that painting. Almost done. Get under there. I know you can't really see it, but if I don't paint it, I will go insane. Kind of see behind him, so I got to get between his legs. Alright, so the dark gray portion is finished. And now I'm going to move on to... I did not get... Lights Umber. So again, with these paints, you don't need a lot. I literally did 1 drop of paint to paint this dark gray blue, and I still have paint left on my palette. So this paint's gonna last me a long time. That's another cool thing about these Pro Acryl paints from Monument Hobbies. They give you a lot. It's 22 milliliters of paint, where the other it's not, you know, it's 22 to 18. It's 4 millimeter difference, but this is $3.99 and this is $3.99. Like, you're getting a little bit more. There's a metal, I mean, there's a glass stopper in there. Do you mix your colors and create your own, or straight out of the bottles? A majority of the time, I'll just go straight out of the bottles. They've come out with so many colors of paint that it's easier to just get the paint colors you need for consistency. If I'm painting individual one-off characters like this, I might mix something special. But when I'm painting my armies, like when I played War Machine, you know, when I play Wild West Exodus or Frostgrave, and I want them to have a uniform look, I want to use the exact same color all the way through. So a majority of the times I'll just go straight out of the bottle. Sometimes I'll mix, but very rarely. Alright, so That should be enough. Get a little drop of this light umber. Now I'm going to paint all of his dark bits. I'm going to be very sloppy with his shoes because I don't care about the base. The base will be based later. Got like this really neat little stone thing to it, and that's not a base from Hero Forge. That's a base that I printed off myself from Dice Head Miniatures. They are not a sponsor, but I do know the creator, Alan. He is a good man. He has sent me stuff. I'm a patron of his on Patreon because he makes some super cute. I don't have any here with me. Some super cute anthropomorphic characters, and that just means that they're little animals that look like humans. They have human features like hands and feet. Bipedal. The gateway miniature for me was actually a war game that a bunch of my friends. Yes, he made the axolotl. The gateway miniature for me was a war game that a bunch of my friends were playing when I first. Because I've been doing RPGs and painting individual RPG models for years, 20 something years, since I was a young warthog. But a bunch of my friends were playing a game called War Machine, and it was so cool. We had so much fun, and it was these big stompy robots, warcasters and generals that could wield magic. Warcasters were generals. They were basically wizard generals they were combat wizards, right? And I remember looking at all of these really cool big stompy robots and the combat wizards and thinking, man, I really want to play this game. I really want to get into this world. It's called Iron Kingdoms. I still run Iron Kingdom games from time to time, but not as much as I would like to. And that was my gateway into actually going full tilt into painting miniatures, was the war game War Machine, because that's where I first ran into batch painting and painting all of these miniatures at one time and learning the different techniques for how to paint. So I'm painting these little things on his neck brown, but I want to go back later and dry brush them with an ivory, with a white and then an ivory to make them more look like bone. And then I'll be using a flesh wash over them to bring that out yet again. So if you'll look at my character, he has hair. I do not. I am fairly bald, but this character is 27, and he comes from a group of people with beautiful long flowing hair, so I gave him these locks that he keeps braided back. So I know it sounds weird, but flesh wash. There are different types of painting aids. Everything with the red cap is a type of wash. Flesh wash, strong tone, shadow wash. And these are just very thinly pigmented paints. So what they do is they either highlight something or they'll bring out details. So the pigmentations will flow into the recesses of a model. Like if you look at his face, he's shouting. He's got this look. I will just paint his face with a golden brown color. Dry brush it with an ivory, not really a white, but an off-white. And then I'll use this flesh wash, which has sort of like a brown pigmentation to it. And that pigmentation will get into the recesses. That way I don't have to paint individual teeth or paint inside of his mouth to make it look like it has a lot of depth. This is an aid for painting, right? It's not really cheating because you have to know how to apply it correctly, but it cuts down on the actual painting time instead of having to do a bunch of individual details. Gotta finish this shoulder right here. Put this down a little bit better. There we go. I definitely think I'm going to be getting model holder. You don't have to see my big old meaty hands while I paint. So again, I'm very excited to be playing this character. I've never played a druid before, so this is my first druid to play. In all my years of playing Dungeons and Dragons, of playing role-playing games, this is the first time I've been excited to choose and play a druid. It's really mostly because of our dungeon master, Danny Dean. He's crafted a very interesting world that's very political. So, like, we couldn't be warlocks, and if we multi-class, we couldn't multi-class natural faith-based magics with arcane magics, because in his world, that's a big no-no, mixing the two. You see he's holding this tomb, this book. I want to have fun painting that book because I'm going to try and freehand some writing in there and a little design to make it look like he's reading some ancient sacred texts. All right, all right. Looking good, looking good. I'm also very excited for the stream coming up. Oh, so much to do with that stream. We have an energy drink sponsor. We have food sponsors. Fortunately, this time around, I don't have to borrow any games from Space Cadets Gaming, but of course, we're very proud to have Space Cadets Gaming, the Aegis Creative Company, the Mouth Breathers Guild as a new sponsor, and then Renegade Games as a new sponsor. So we're very thankful for them and everything that they've put out. Yes, we have an energy drink sponsor. Our new energy drink sponsor is Sneak Energy. You may have seen them all over Facebook. They have a little bunny rabbit mascot that's super cute. So I'm very excited to have that. So the one drawback to this very nice paint is that if you get it anywhere, it's gonna stay. Took the bottle. Fortunately, I only got some on my hand, not on my phone, a little bit on the palette. Womp womp. Yeah, but I don't want to apply rubbing alcohol or paint thinner to my hands because it'll dry my hands out. It's just easier to scrub off as much as you can and then just wait for it to wear out. It's not, these are acrylic paints, they're not very hazardous to you. Um, Whereas the paint thinner and the rubbing alcohol, bad for your skin, bad for your hands. I already work with my hands heavily at work, so I have some decent calluses and my hands are already dry and cracked. Last thing I need is to amplify that. So I'm going to paint his hair black, and then I'm going to go back with a gray dry brush, and then do a lighter gray highlight. So his hair will still look black, but the layers of dry brush will give it more definition. 'Art school dropout. We used all the chemicals. The lava soap. Yeah, the lava soap does work well too. We have that lava soap at work, but not at home. 1 second, gotta double check something. Alright, cool. Stream drop for a second. Gotta make sure that it's still going. When we stream the 24-hour stream, I will be hardlined into our internet. Not too worried about that. Alright. So, a little rough. We're not done yet. Went through the first rounds of color. I'm now going to paint his face. Light brown. And then I'm going to use that light brown to dry brush his fur. Okay, so here's a new technique that I learned. When you clean your brushes off, you clean them on a towel. Get them wet, dry them off. When you want to... Hola, soy sauce. Hey Frida, how you doing? When you're painting, instead of painting onto a paper towel, like I usually try and rub off excess, you paint onto a non-porous so that it takes the paint off and leaves little paint on there, but it also doesn't dry out the paint. So you still want there to be some fluidity to the paint. Now we're going to try this technique. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And again, this isn't super fancy. This isn't maximum details. It's just getting in there where we can. And then the flesh wash will do the rest. What I'm going to do now is switch brushes from my high detail brush to my dry brush. I'm going to use that same golden brown that I had just used. I'm going to wipe it onto the piece of acrylic I'm calling my palette. Just going to leave me with a very little bit of golden brown. I'm going to dry brush back of his cloak. Dry brush all those brown pieces. Just hit the edge highlights. Doing exactly what I wanted. Barely touching those edges. Front. and I like that very much. Actually working a lot better. It doesn't look as chalky as when I normally do it. Oh, Frida, thank you so much. I completely forgot. Frida had bought me and my family some Digimons, like old school Digimon Digivices, so that we can play together. And yes, Frida, as soon as I'm finished, I will send you our address. So that we can make that happen. Because I am very excited to beat Sabrina at Digimon. Although, she is very competitive, so watch that. Oh yeah. This new dry brushing technique is way better. Give this book a very liberal dry brushing. I don't want the pages to look dark white. I'm gonna go back over with an ivory as well. Oh, how sweet! Sabrina is currently playing Tales of Arise. I'm a huge fan of the Tales series. Sabrina is a huge fan of the Tales series. And they seem to have knocked it out of the park with this latest installment. Go. Could probably use a dry brush that was a little more detailed. That's okay. Now we're gonna go back and dry brush the blues. Half a hamster. Sounds like they're ungrateful, Frida. What am I gonna do with that? Oh, I don't think I've used this bright ivory. This will be nice. Something I'm very excited about is tomorrow night, Midnight Ghost Hunt comes out for Steam, and it looks like such a fun game. Sabrina and I are very excited to try it out. Alright, there we go. A little bit of that bright ivory went a long way. Hey, Aruku-san. Oh, neat. Polymer clay earrings. That'll be neat. Just your Twitch name. Well, what are the polymer clay earrings going to be? Like little Easter eggs, little chicks? Peeps. You should do peeps. Peeps would be super cute. Peep earrings, I bet, would be right. Peeps and Easter eggs. Isn't that what everybody wants for Easter? Peeps and Easter eggs. Rita, do you do just regular pierced earrings, or do you do those little clip-on earrings too? All right. Flesh wash already. think I have clip-on backing somewhere, if not Michael's, and links for. Bought a mold for resin Easter egg pendants too. Oh, nice. Yeah, we're always so late when we try and make things. I say we, it's usually me. We should be gearing up for 4th of July right now. So that we have plenty of stock when that time comes. Alright, I need another fine detail brush. There we go. Up a loop. Because we about to paint some fine detail. Yellow. Probably orange. So we went from drab gray to this, and now we're about to start doing some highlights. Yellow. I'm gonna paint his little lightning bolts yellow. Camera's going crazy trying to figure out where to focus. There we go. That's his radiant damage spells. A radiant damage dealer. Which it was very funny to see my friend. Whoa, sorry Frida, I'm gonna catch up here. My 4th of July stuff did sell last year, so I wound up getting rid of most of it, but I had mostly tumblers and shot glasses. Shot glasses. Shot glass sets. A few of the sets were drunken tic-tac-toe. Toe. Yeah, Freedom. Sabrina makes a good point. We have to hit you up for some shot glasses. We need some shot glasses. We have one shot glass. Out of here. Blue. Sky blue. Start doing some dry brushing and highlights. First, let's go back and correct some of this dark gray that I fuddled up just a little bit. Oh, neat. Definitely share those when you have them out, Frida. But those will sell real well. And all I'm doing right now is cleaning up where I over dry brushed. Just a little bit. Which is fine. Things like that happen all the time. Oop. Lost a brush. Yeah, anything gaming related at the gamer flea markets, highly recommend, because you never know who you're gonna catch out there or what you'll see. Now, sometimes actual vendors, like actual gaming companies, show up to those gamer flea markets. If they see your stuff and like it, they may want to put it in their stores. Absolutely. Yeah. Um, a couple of like game creators and um, specifically to Etten. I know that they've come to those. Like the guy who made Dinosaur Fight, or the guys who did East Texas University. I know for a fact that they've been out to Etten for their events and stuff. So that's a good one to look into. All right. That's done. Now we're going to dry brush with this regular blue. You're gonna try and make it out to Comic Palooza this year, Frida? Haven't opened that one yet either. Yeah. We haven't really been able to do anything, and we haven't really run the laser for a while. Yeah, I hear that. Just doing what you can when you can. We're gonna dry brush his. Yeah. Ben's a good kid. It's not like you're going crazy with him, right? All right. Last but not least, we're gonna do the highlights in this sky blue. It's a much lighter blue. Shake that enough. Shake vigorously. Yeah, they usually try and do it when there's a 5th Saturday in the month. And at the very least once a quarter. My guess is that it'll be May or June. Alright, you can't see it, but I'm getting all the excess paint off on my hand because you want something that's absorbent to take off some of what's left there. Hit the edges with that dry brush. Get that nice layered look. Spin it around. Well, Streamlabs, my favorite RPG at this moment. East Texas University. Very neat spin on modern horror. My fine detail brush. Oh, Stream. Alright, so gotta go for a 3-point hole on this. Don't goof up his headband. Alright. So, his hair is black. We are going to dry brush that with a dark warm gray to give it some depth. Oh, neat. No. Hustle. Hustle, 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 Frida. I know what it's like. Where's the liquor at? Anyone can paint silver. I've already had my shot for the night. But thanks for asking, Ira. Oh, he's on. All right, for Frida, a Glowforge is not worth it. They're extremely expensive. They put you on this payment plan that goes for a long period of time. Do not do a Glowforge. It's much more cost efficient for you to get a legacy laser or something from anywhere else. You can get a more industrial, user-friendly laser than Glowforge. I think I gotta fix his face. What I do recommend is looking into other options. Yes, get a laser cutter elsewhere. And for Ira, anyone can paint silver. You're absolutely right. Anyone can paint silver. I cannot paint under the influence because I'm already shaky as it is. So I need to make sure I have my full faculties to me. But I will have a shot later tonight. Doctor's orders. What have you left? Painting his Radiant Blast yellow after I dry brushed it with a bit of blue. And I dry brushed it with blue so that you knew he was a good guy. Because only good guys use blue. Yeah. And really, anybody can get good at painting. The problem is that you do have to practice. Practice, learn the techniques. You can always make something look better. Paint over it, restart. Learn tips and tricks. Like eating a banana before you start doing your work. Welcome back to Facebook. All right, so we are pretty much done with the character. The last thing I am going to do is use a red, gold pyrrole red to write in this book to make it look a bit dramatic. So take a look at his book. It's completely empty. Bring it a little bit closer. I'm going to try and write something and draw something in that book. I've never done this before, so wish me luck. Didn't come out too bad. I'm going to go back with the black, outline a few things, underline a few things. Go black. What you got for me? Oof. Peter wrote me a little paragraph. Let's see what we got. One thing I wanted to do years ago that I was never able to get around to were leather playable mats. Oof. I was going to hand burn them with a wood burner, but a laser cutter or running the embossing tip through my Cricut seems better. Yeah. I haven't tried using my laser cutter to etch. I haven't tried using my laser cutter to etch into leather. I haven't used it to cut into leather. I would think that the Cricut would be a much better choice for that. All right, so I'm just going to take this. Right, all right. Right. All right. So I feel like he is done. I'm happy with him. He's exactly what I wanted to try and do. I was able to use my new dry brushing technique, which I think looks fantastic. Now I will paint the cobblestones. There was a storm? I missed the storm. Was there a storm today? I missed it. I'm very sorry for your pupper. I know that can be very traumatic for them. I know you can't see it, but painting his base. This neutral gray. Adios, Frida. Thank you for joining us tonight. I always appreciate Frida coming and chatting with me while I stream. Good person, has a lot really good stories. Okay, see, I'm painting his base now. that's how we get from there to there. Whoop. All right. Been a few hours now, and I'm very thankful for everybody that stopped by and talked and chatted and asked questions. I'm very happy to be here and answer any questions you guys have. I will be back to streaming on my normal Monday nights. Next Monday we'll be starting prep for the stream, so I'll be painting a lot of zombies, a lot of modern looking terrain, and talking about all the new RPGs that I'll be playing. East Texas University, Zombicide Chronicles, and the new VHS that finishes its Kickstarter tomorrow. So definitely take a look at it. I have links on my Facebook page, Big Bad Nerd Dad on Facebook. So thank y'all very much. Please have a wonderful evening. Have a safe weekend. I love you very much, and I hope to see you